Like, this is the blackest episode we have, B.
This is a black. We got Micron's legs in the building.
For Jobbertears South.
Jobbertears South. Look at that quad. We got the big
solid,
daddy, the millionaire, Mr. Millionaire himself, Chiseled Adonis.
Jobber Nation, welcome to probably the blackest episode
Straight
of the Jobbertears.
Fourth annual Chiseled Adonis Black History episode.
Chiseled Adonis
We're in all
episode.
black. We're in all black. AKA the Dr. Umar episode for the year.
And we're gonna name it Dr. Umar too, so we can get the analytics popping.
Oh, true. That's real clickbait right there.
Dr. Umar's on the show.
Yo, what?
I really want him on the show.
Like, does he like wrestling?
Oh,
Like,
I'm
how
going
dope
to
would
school.
that be?
Huh? I'm gonna check out his school though in Wilmington. It's Wilmington. I'm
He
gonna
has
check
a
it
school?
out. Yeah, what? Yeah, the school is built and everything, dogs.
But is it
Yeah.
like college like
No,
school or like
no.
kids?
It's for kids.
It's a grade school.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take my I'm gonna take my girl's daughter there, so I'm look like a parent.
This nigga's not-
Listen, he promised me a school how many years ago? I gotta see the fruition of it. What he's studying, because he's the only black-run black school in America. So
Doesn't LeBron go to school?
we're not gonna do that.
I'm just asking the question.
It's not all.
Well,
him.
we have Chiseled Adonis on this episode.
It was a real life question because I'm saying
Nah,
like
it's not all him.
the guy
I
that
just-
founded Hollywood Academy
It's not
Success
all
is
him.
black.
It's not all him. No, they got black. I mean, they got white backers too.
Okay.
So does Dr. Umar school.
For
I'll be
donations.
like invest.
Donations.
That's
There's
still
a difference.
That's still.
No. It's a difference.
That's not a
There's
difference.
a difference. No white man make a decision for the school.
Anybody that put money into some shit,
What?
they got a
Oh,
they got a part of it.
so we're not. So if you put $1 in one thing, you have a right to say something.
I mean, if you're a stakeholder, yeah, like you
now
have
you
a
move the
vote.
goalposts, big dogs.
No,
now you move
it's
the
the
goalposts,
truth.
big dogs. Big dogs.
It's the truth.
Big dogs. You said if you put money into something, now you can put if you're a stake. No.
Like, think about it. If somebody
Don't
has
move the
said,
goalposts.
think about it. If somebody say, "Yo, I want to invest in Jobbertears," you think they're not gonna want a part in wanting to make a
Investments.
decision?
Investment, but it's donations he was talking about. Donations.
Donations
So,
is even worse.
back
It's
to
low-key,
Chiseled Adonis. Thanks for
tax
coming.
write off.
Thanks for coming on this episode. We found out that you are a multi-millionaire now.
You know, if we looking for an investor, I think he is sitting right beside me.
We
you know,
we
You
can't
can
do
host
this
all the
with
job
the
slams.
with the misinformation to already begin. That's
Listen, man.
ridiculous.
I mean, we're giving you the platform to clear the air.
Yes, well, for one, for those who are unfamiliar, let me catch them up to speed. I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. I love it rolls right off the tongue. Right, but
Really
first and foremost,
does.
regarding the multi-millionaire accusations, it's all a falsity. Let's just go that, we'll just nip that in the bud. It's fake news, as they would
So
say.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, I be pocket watching.
Mm.
So if we look at your numbers and the analytics and your YouTube breakdown, you're making a quality living. And then it looks
Allegedly.
like it's not allegedly.
He will not confirm nor deny
I can look up your tax
his
numbers.
lifestyle.
I can look
Yeah, I
those
cannot
up.
confirm nor deny said sentence.
But at the same time, we appreciate you for coming on this episode to talk about black people in wrestling, talk about wrestling in general. We have Micron's legs, movie Mike here in the
Quadricep
building.
tendons.
Quadricep tendons in the building. Yeah, he put quality cocoa butter on his arm.
Yeah, because if you were
colored skin.
ashy, I would have told you about yourself.
Now,
I'd be like, don't be ashy up in here.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to get this off my chest. I want to get this off my chest.
Fuck MVP.
Black History Month.
Wow.
No, it's never FMVP. I would like to say that I was right.
About what? You
I
right
know
about-
I'm jumping ahead, but I want to get this off my chest right here. Paige, aka Sahara, whatever you want to
Soraya.
Sahara.
Yeah.
Paige, aka Soraya.
Niggas with the sound.
Listen. Overrated, like I said. Mid-level, like Ant-Man the movie.
Oh no!
I said it before she was overrated, and y'all got in my DMs, started harassing me, started talking shit about me, and look at you now.
He was big
Look
on,
at me now.
He's big on
right.
TikTok. Like, yo, it got like 50, almost 50K. It's probably up now.
But like I said, has she done anything? Has Soraya, a.k.a. Paige, done anything? Like I said, overrated. You can't blame the booker because I know she got power now. You can't blame Tony Khan. I blame her. She is the Derek Carr of professional wrestling.
Whoa. Don't play Derek Carr on this one, B. No.
She is Derek
Oh,
Carr.
yeah.
No. You just play Derek Carr because he had no O-line, B. No O-line. Like,
Yeah.
they was on his back like a
Vegas-
rodeo.
Vegas
Come on.
gave up on him. Vegas
No,
didn't build.
no.
Don't do that
No.
to him,
Don't
Because
do that.
y'all acted like Tony Storm and Soraya was supposed to be the next big thing.
B. Who's y'all?
Because these streets, these wrestling streets were acting like they were
They.
supposed to be the next big thing.
Day.
And you know what happened? They delivered like Derek Carr and Devontae Adams.
Wow.
No playoff berth.
Don't blame
Nothing.
Derek Carr, B.
No, nothing.
Stop blaming Derek
Soraya
Carr.
is a bum.
Okay, fine.
She's
Wow.
officially entered the
Well.
bum lane.
So she's Kwame
So
Brown.
I'm curious here. So who would you have alongside her in the bum lane? Because we're talking in.
Are we
just
driving
across-
into this
no,
bum
Like
lane?
if you're driving into
There's
the
no
bum
coming
lane,
back after this
who
shit.
would you see alongside Soraya / Paige in the bum lane?
So because we're driving into the bum lane, like everybody get in the back of the car.
We might as well at this point.
We're gonna drive into this bum
Okay,
lane.
bus driver.
Oh.
Okay. So first things first, this goes across all boards, across all the boards. When I say bum lane, before you people get into my DMs, start talking about my mama, start threatening my ex-girlfriend, I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you. Start trying to blackball me within the independent scene.
Saying that I make sure that he will make no money out here.
Trying to make sure I don't make no money. I'm
Be your
not
own
talking.
people.
I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about you on TV.
Your character.
Your character that you play on TV.
Yes.
So first things first, William Yuta is up front with me in the bum lane.
Whoa! Why?
Cause the motherfucker can't speak on the mic.
Okay. What
And
else?
It's obnoxious.
Okay, Yuta. Okay,
Yuta sitting next to me.
Next
Yuta
to you,
sitting
he's
right
in the
there.
front.
He's the matron.
He's in the front.
He's in the passenger side,
the matron.
Damn.
sitting on his
Matron.
best friend's ride, which is me right now.
He's the
Wow.
matron. He's the
Oh, that's my
matron.
song.
So fine.
Okay.
So Yuta.
Bronson Reed, he's right behind me. He's right behind me.
I mean, he got a big load in the back, so you sure you gonna fit somebody else in the back?
Somebody check on the shocks. That's a big boy right there. He got no neck.
Paige and Tony Storm, they both with me on this bum lane right now. We driving down
All right,
hard.
Who
we
in the trunk? Because there's no more room in the back.
It's a bus.
We're in
Oh,
a
who
bus.
said
We're on-
car?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of seats. There's a lot of seats.
there's a lot. Anybody want to add anybody to this bum lane?
Top
I'm trying to
dollar.
think.
Damn.
Well,
He's the maker of the bus.
well, there it is. Top dollars on the bus.
You know why? Top dollar. Yo, it's nothing to his skills, nothing like that. None of that. Yo, he think he's better than he is. Yo, you cannot dress, B. I'm thinking that, cool, this is probably his gimmick. No, you dress like that in real life. Boy! And you swear you fly. I'm thinking that, you know what? He probably don't know better because he probably went off the porch into wrestling, like a lot of us. Boy, you was in the NFL. That's no excuse, B. Around the flyers of the flyers dudes. And you still know how to dress?
So he on the bum bus.
No, he's the maker of it.
Because the man can't dress.
Yes.
Well, I will say though that the bum bus is partly sponsored by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So
And you see why Vince fired him the first time.
that'll definitely
couldn't
be
dress?
right.
Yes.
I don't think Vince fired him because he couldn't.
Boy!
Could you
Boy!
imagine? Could you imagine you go into the ring? Obviously, this ain't top dollar, but let's just say you go in the ring, you put on 10 out of 10 type matches. You're amazing on the mic. But boy, you can't dress. Hey, it's time to get him up out the company. Get him out the company.
Imagine he comes through Gorilla. Come here. Come here. Come. Take a seat.
Hey, what are those shoes?
What are
What
those?
are those?
What are those?
We can't have this in the company. Hey, get him up out of here, man. Get him up out of here.
Think about it.
The
Think about it.
WWE stock is increasing.
Think about
We
it.
can't have
Think
no
about
top
it.
dollar
Think
in
about
here.
it. Think about it. Really think about it. The worst ring gear in WWE is top dollar, B. Out of everyone else. You know, even like Scripps. All that,
that's
but
my
it
nigga.
makes sense. But
Scripps?
out of everybody in the company, who has the worst ring gear? Top dollar.
You know what it is? He's not from New York.
That's
why.
no excuse though, dogs. Wrestling is his own culture.
But the thing is, he's not. Like I'm trying to.
I think the swag that you're looking for him to put on the TV screen, he can't deliver because he's not from a place like that.
That's
Like
no
from where
excuse,
from.
So now I'm curious. So what would it take him wearing to get in your good graces?
Yo, stop dressing like you from the 2000s, B.
But
No.
he is.
No.
So you need him
he-
to come out like Seth Rollins?
Not even. But his swag, but modernize it.
But okay. So let me.
Wait, so hold on. So you wasn't feeling JBL suits? You wasn't feeling the baggy suits?
But
He could fit Hornswoggle in one of the legs. He wasn't
that's
feeling.
JBL style. Like, he's old school. That's acceptable.
Okay.
He's old school. You understand? And Steve Harvey bust out and Steve Harvey suit. I can't say nothing.
So with Top Dollar, okay, if you're gonna be a rapper, if
Mm-hmm.
that's I kind of see where my brother's going with
Yeah.
this. If you're gonna be a rapper and that's your gimmick, when you a rapper, dress like a rapper of the current times.
Mm-hmm.
Don't dress like a rapper of when DMX was hot.
Okay.
He's dressing like he still wears like Rockaware.
Maybe that's why it
Yeah,
doesn't
Fat
bother me
Farm
so
and
much.
stuff of that nature.
Huh?
I said maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much. 'Cause I'm just
No.
like,
But then with his tag team
Whatever.
partner, would you say his?
no.
first
No,
of all,
I
between
don't mind
his,
Asante.
his
Yeah.
hair
No, I
and
don't like
everything.
Asante. No.
Because I think his dressing is
Boy.
better than Top Dollar.
Yeah. But it's just like Top Dollar throws off the aesthetics. Because you got Bree looking all sexy. You know, you got Adonis looking good. Top Dollar as a big man, he's an eyesore.
He looks like he has holes in his drawers.
Okay. He
You feel
probably
me?
does.
You feel me?
Somebody had
And-
put No Limit wrestling gear.
That's what it looks like.
Don't live in rest. Come on, B.
I mean, that's actually
But
not a bad
he
idea,
can
though.
actually. But the thing about he's actually talented.
Exactly.
But there's pageantry in professional wrestling.
Okay.
So if you're going to be this rapper, look like a rapper. Like, dress like one. Like, if you're going to dress like a rapper of the current times, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, update the wardrobe, get into what you're trying to do, or get a stylist or something.
Because it looks like that, I'm going to be very honest, it looks like a white man's idea of a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
How he dresses.
He is like bright.
Like, you feel me though, son? Like, if a white man was in PR, let's get a rapper
a
look.
corporate white man
Yeah.
would be like, "Yo, this is
it.
how a rapper
Like,
looks."
this
like.
is how-
remember
this is how you dress.
remember when we had interviewed B and she mentioned like they didn't even know like what a cipher is. So like there probably are like that, I guess, guidance or the direction of like a stylist or something.
Nope.
They may not have.
I agree with you. I agree. I see what you mean. I definitely agree with you. But he dressed like that in the Indies.
I saw his
Okay.
sneakers. His sneakers say the most.
Ah.
He had a
My
he had-
nigga spent a solid 16 in front of me
He-
off rip,
he-
so
he-
I have
he
nothing
had-
bad to say.
He had sixes on, and the white part was yellow.
That's a shame.
I don't, yeah,
So we
I don't know
got
what that means.
on this bus. So now it's Top Dollar's now on the bus.
He's the maker. So
Okay, he's
he
the
gotta
maker
be
of
on
the bus. So then who else is on the bum bus? Who else will be on the bum bus?
Lance Archer, because them fucking braids. I don't know who the fuck told that was
Look
that was a
cool.
good. That's
He's a
not.
hog.
That's not cool. That's not cool at all. That's not cool at all. Like
Okay.
stop.
So for you, it's Lance Archer.
Who else? I don't know. Like that was the first person that came to my mind because I was like, he's returning on Rampage, and I was just like, what?
Would he put Ring of Honor?
Would he? Who for Ring of Honor?
The whole company.
No. But I already done told you the bus is being sponsored by and paid for by Tony Khan. So
No.
That's
The
the
bus
biggest-
is sponsored by Top Dollar.
No,
He's the
it's
maker.
not. It's not.
Top Dollar Motors.
He supplies the gas if you really want to do that.
Okay.
Interesting.
But the
You know what he
actual
should
bus,
wear? Top Dollar.
Wow.
More sweatshirts. Stop wearing the jerseys. Throw away those jerseys. Throw away the jerseys. Wear customizable things that fit what that say Top Dollar on it. More customizable things. Don't wear a jersey.
So you think he should take a book? Well, essentially they kind of wear jerseys as well, but you think he should take a book or such a chapter from the Street Profits of how you
and then the things need to be fit. Need to fit
Fitted.
more.
Okay.
Like we don't wear jean shorts
Mm-hmm.
and basketball shorts anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna wear some shorts, throw some sweatpants on.
So essentially, if this is gonna be the gimmick, you got to be able to keep up with the times. You
Yeah,
can't
that's
just
but
half-ass it.
that's and I'm
Okay,
thinking about it
all
like
right. I'm getting you
who's
now.
who actually looks fly in regular clothes. the Usos
Mm-hmm.
look good. Even if you look at the Acclaimed, he's corny like rapper type of thing, but his stuff is fitted.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta fit to what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, he talks about he gets money, get a stylist.
Mm-hmm.
You on the road a lot, I get that, but get a stylist.
Ooh, somebody said Brian Cage.
Waste
I
of
think
talent.
Waste of talent, but he ain't a bum though.
He's not on the bus.
Yeah.
But he's driving
on
the car
standby.
behind it.
He on
Okay.
standby.
Okay.
He's in the same lane though. He's on a bum lane.
So if those are the current people who's on the bum bus, like, because if you want to qualify it, then
Hardcore
historic. Okay, like I was gonna say historically, what other
Hardcore Holly.
people would be on that bum bus? Hardcore
Hardcore
Holly.
Holly.
Interesting.
Hardcore Hollywood, no.
Interesting.
went
The
through this
disrespect
before.
that they have for Bob is ridiculous.
Come on, y'all really act
It's
like
ridiculous.
this. Yo, on some
It's
real
ridiculous at
We
this
need to
point.
rewind the Hardcore Holly career.
I don't like.
Let's
the-
really
like, the
rewind Hardcore
disrespect
Holly's career.
It's wild.
So Hardcore Holly was never a superstar.
Never.
That's correct. Never a superstar.
Borderline a mid-level player.
Okay.
And let's put it in perspective of when I say mid-level player. I am talking about B.J. Armstrong. I am talking about, let's see, for instance, a solid running back that gives me about 700 yards a season.
Oh, that's just real great.
That's a solid
good,
guy. But she acts like this guy was a star.
No,
No.
it was never a star.
He had his moment.
I
he had
never
his
said
moment
he's the
with
superstar, but the disrespect that y'all
what did he
niggas
do?
give.
What did Hardcore
So
Holly
like,
do?
like we're not gonna talk about how he was a part of the pack that made the hardcore title be what it was.
Molly Holly.
Yep.
Molly Holly did her thing. Crash.
Crash
If
Holly.
And that wouldn't have been on a platform if
I
Bob wasn't the
guarantee-
one in the forefront of that.
I guarantee if Crash wasn't short, he would have been way higher in wrestling.
No, R.I.P. to my man Crash Holly though.
Yeah.
But and listen. I'm not saying he was bad.
No.
Was he a pivotal? Was he a solid player? Was he a solid player? Yeah.
He was the missing seasoning in certain segments.
He was definitely
that
not the
needed.
missing season. He just added season.
Exactly.
This shit
He-
just tastes
look,
a little bit
Hardcore
better.
Holly is a Toyota Camry. Reliable, it's safe.
Nah,
and
he
it's
not
durable.
Toyota Camry
See,
because
I
he got
sure
he
am
got an attitude. He got an attitude.
Oh,
He was
okay.
acting like he was a superstar when he fought Brock.
Okay.
Bro, no, you weren't.
Okay.
See,
no, you weren't.
There, I can completely agree with you there, right? Because I can look at it from the angle of he was essential in the development of a lot of people during that era because he was a solid guy. You could throw him in a match with somebody. You'll get a decent match. It won't put somebody super over. He wasn't creating superstar. Oh, I beat Bob Holly. I took down Hardcore Holly. Give me a title shot. That wasn't happening, right? But with Hardcore, he was somebody where when you talk about that era of wrestling, regarding the hardcore division, you can't just gloss over him like the man ain't exist.
No,
He
you
played a role.
can't. He played a really big role
played
in
a
that.
role
Nobody
in the
mentioned his
Nah,
hardcore
bro.
antics.
Because really, if you
was
really
Steve
think about
Blackman's
it,
division,
with
though,
the
B.
with
No,
the
it
hardcore
wasn't.
division, it wasn't that big.
I would put Al Snow over him. I would put fucking Boss Man over him. Like, nah, like. And don't get me wrong, when Steve Blackman came out with the nunchucks and all that shit and the music was popping, I don't take that away from him.
Steve Blackman
But I
fought in
definitely
niggas'
don't.
basements.
Yeah.
He fought in the Lions Den match.
That's only why
Hold
you
on,
putting him
hold
over.
on,
It's the
hold
only
on,
reason why
hold
you
on,
putting him over.
Hold on. He had an epic feud with the son, with the owner's son. That
You-
means
He
something.
killed
are-
Shane McMahon.
You
He
are
was climbing
only
up like
putting,
this.
you're
He had
only
2 times,
putting
like a
it
bottle.
over.
Look,
Yeah, but there were so many people in the hardcore division. There were so many people who
Listen,
had great moments.
he is top
back
tier, mid level. That is it. That's the only thing I'll give
That's
Hardcore
fair.
Holly. Hardcore Holly.
Fair
But y'all
enough,
better,
fair
but y'all,
enough.
but
But these
listen,
streets be
put-
acting like this
put some
guy's a
respect
legend.
on my nigga Bob though.
No,
For
we're
real,
not
for
acting
real.
like he
Put some
this
respect on
top
my
tier
nigga
guy
Bob.
that we
Like,
like. If you like him, you like him.
of course.
But in my opinion, I forget all about him all the time.
Nah.
Truly, I think he's somebody who should be like, because I don't know what he does now, but he's somebody who should have been like, all right, you put him at the performance center.
He was at the performance center.
Because
He
he
was
could
on
be like
Tough
a Matt
Enough.
Bloom.
He
Yeah,
beat
yeah.
up people.
He beat up people on Tough
Yeah,
Enough.
that's where things go crazy. Because I remember I was watching a clip, I think a few days ago, where Kurt Angle was talking about with Bob Holly, where he was training, like when a lot of people, when it comes to development or whatever, they would throw Bob Holly out there, and he would help train individual. So he could be something like a Billy Gunn, something of that nature. But really, as it pertains to superstardom, he was never that guy.
He's not even. He's not even on the bottom.
Yeah, he was
tier.
never that guy. So anytime you hear him talk as if he was that level of relevancy, then I can understand why people are like, oh, come on.
He's like the ninth person off the bench, man.
But
like, you still need him though.
Yeah, you would still need him.
Don't
you
do
would
that.
still need him. Like he
that.
played a role. He lasted
I
for
don't
a
like the
period.
disrespect y'all have for my man Bob.
He was all right.
Same
He
as
was
that
all right.
leader, right?
Bob Holly.
What?
Alabama Slam, things of that nature. He was all
Don't
right.
get me started how they about to put these tag belts on them. Don't get me started on that. They ain't gonna pull that trigger. But actually, so let's actually get into the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Thanks once again to everyone that came out to
I
Legends.
was right throughout the whole thing.
Thank you for everyone that came out to the pay-per-view viewing party. We
good, Mike?
appreciate you guys. Actually, wait, Mike, who's on the bum bus for you? Real quick.
He can't say that. He a wrestler.
Okay.
He can't say that.
He can say whatever he
No,
wants.
he can't. This is politics. We put him in that position.
That would have cost a man a job.
This man will not get booked for the rest of the year because of one person. He said one person's on the bum bus.
But they never gonna pay him no money. Because take a look at those quadricep tendons. Come on now. Take a look at the
They gonna
So,
quadriceps.
Janelle knows
man.
how political this game
Right?
is.
Don't forget about the calves either. The calves is in there too.
Super political. Like, listen, I look like my brother, so that's already like what he's everything. So I accepted this bus a long time ago. Like that was the verbal contract we have.
Really? Oh, so you've run into some adversity in the business.
Oh, it's coming,
booked for,
but
for,
it's just
for
like
reffing?
nobody was saying in my face.
Ah, okay.
Because
well,
of my aura.
see, but that's the thing. See, if they're not willing to say it in your face and they'll only say it behind your back, when you see them, then you can have a conversation.
I mean,
you don't gotta escalate to anything
That's
physical,
really-
but you always
that's
have a
wrestling
conversation.
That's wrestling in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But Elimination Chamber was this past
Thoughts?
weekend in
Mm-hmm.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and man, what? Listen, WWE did that. Like, if you really had, like, people could always pinpoint things that could have been different, that could have been right, that could have been wrong, but overall, top to bottom, that was probably one of the best Elimination Chambers pay-per-views that has been on. Like they said, it was the highest gate for them, the most viewed Elimination Chamber pay-per-view of all time.
Everybody throw your ones up, baby, because the bloodline did it again, baby. The bloodline did it again. The
I'm not throwing
bloodline
nothing
did it
up. I'm
again.
not throwing nothing
Roman
up.
Reigns once again, needle mover. You heard what she said? Highest gate,
Highest gate.
most viewed. The streets is out here watching
But
because
I
you know
think-
why? Because the bloodline did their thing.
John Cena, this was like level of like one night stand. Level of
Now listen, y'all already know my riff with Roman, and I keep the same energy. But that nuclear heat that he
Yes.
got in Quebec,
yes.
baby, you could. I was impressed. I said, oh, okay, he's finally unlocked the thing that I think he's been trying to do for the past almost 10 years. So this was it was a good moment really for the both of them. If you really look at it, for Roman's standpoint of being able to hold the character, being able to give Sammy that moment, him coming, even being able to the point of coming out first. I think it's always the little things for me when it comes to those moments, and Roman letting him soak up the moment and it being, that big for him, for Sammy, first time main eventing a big WWE pay-per-view in that such. But let's talk about the chamber matches first. We had, I think the women's had started off. And they had, once again, the winner of the women's elimination chamber going to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Did the right person win?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next.
So Asuka will now be facing Bianca Belair, which I think it's a really good move on their part. Low key, it's the in the move in the right direction, because either way, if I don't want Bianca to lose, but if she does, once again, she's shown you she can bounce back. So I don't think either which way is gonna be really good. Then we had the mixed tag of Judgment Days, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley versus the Grit couple, Beth Phoenix and Edge.
Next.
Magnificent.
Them doing FTR's finisher at the end
Strider machine.
was dope.
That's it. What's next?
Let's see. Why you rushing through it?
Because we all nominally say it was the best match. One of the best match.
Then we had the men's elimination chamber match. Oh no, we had Brock and Bobby.
Brock and Bobby, yep. I didn't like the finish.
I
but
actually
I
did.
understood why. But I didn't like the finish.
I did. They did the low blow like you and Simon did low key, where he didn't really hurt him. But I liked it because I think it gives still it extended it at least to where we need to get to WrestleMania.
But you know what's bizarre about that was on the SmackDown leading into Elimination Chamber, Wyatt had come out and said whoever wins would have to, he's coming for them. So with the finish of the chamber, that's what it made me not like the finish, because that clearly there's meat on the bone still for Brock and Bobby.
However,
so how do you fit Wyatt in here now?
So it's interesting that you say that, because he did say the winner. Technically, Bobby Lashley won the match.
Exactly.
So is it the route that we go, Bobby and Bray at some point? Do we go, like, are we going to do that? Because then on the Raw after Elimination Chamber, Omos challenged Brock.
That's what's so confusing.
Which, it's funny to me because, and it low-key makes sense because last year's Mania, he faced Bobby.
Yeah, he faced Bobby.
So I think all those pieces, I think, will fit somehow. It's just the beauty of not knowing how. But I think they will.
Listen, that match's going to be trash.
It's
because you know what it is? It's always Brock for some reason why. Because Brock with certain competitors, he's like, because like Brock could just do the bare, like he could do a 65. Like 65 is passing in high school in New York. That's 65. That's the bare minimum of C. He does the C work. We all pop. Him versus Lashley.
Omos?
That was a C. Him versus Omos, that's gonna be like a what? A C. So I'm not hyped for it because it's like, all right.
I actually think him and Omos, it'd be an even worse match, because the positive of last year when Bobby fought Omos went in undefeated. He had never lost. We never saw this dude really deal with, and he manhandled a bunch of people, and then Bobby won. So you're like, oh, well, things work. Now with Omos, he doesn't have the same head of steam that he had before. So if you come out and you challenge Brock, nobody looks at it, oh, boy, Brock better watch out. That's not the case. And with Brock and Bobby, I think they still have a lot of, like, for one, there's a lot of meat on the bone that still exists there. And they can put together a good program if they're giving them,
what is the problem over there?
legitimate time and an actual story.
What is wrong with you?
Oh,
you worried about damn sneakers. God damn it.
But, you know, I think they have a legitimate chance with Brock and Bobby to go somewhere with it, because it really works. They have the history. They're both legitimate at that. So since that's the case, I think that needs to be the match. If you're going to introduce Wyatt, then I think it shouldn't be a matter of, well, whoever won the match, now Wyatt will deal with them. Why not have a situation where Wyatt and I guess that Uncle Howdy or whatever
Nigga,
the guy
it is his brother, Bo.
Yeah, it's got to be Bo Dallas.
And I didn't realize it until. But the wild part is
that would be a good tag team match, though.
I've always said I felt like the Uncle Howies had been changing low key leading up to Rumble.
Taller, shorter, crazy.
Yeah, like one was thick, one was smaller. It was weird. But this past SmackDown was the first time I was very certain that was Bo because of the earring. I said, whoa, like that's him. That's how that's going to go. So, but my take with Omos, though, is I feel like it could be the way for them to prove to Bobby to come back to the Hurt Business. And I feel like in that way, if they take out his biggest problem and show him like, yo, we're about being together and about helping him, I think that could be the way to help. That could be it could be the lane that they may go into.
But it wasn't a reason why they broke up. It was MVP.
But MVP's trying to right his wrong.
So
that is true. He is trying to right his wrong.
If you see from the really the last 6 months, all MVP has been trying to do is right the wrong with Bobby. And Bobby's been like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to hear it. 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 But if MVP does the ultimate, like, I got you, and I'm going to take care of the thing, not to say that you couldn't, but I'm going to help my brother in this, it could show him, like, all right, he's really on my side.
But he beat Brock
He really wants to.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the only problem.
But see, the thing with him beating Brock, though, it wasn't super clean. That was at Rumble when Roman and them had screwed him.
Yeah, they threw in the title.
And that was the one he got on him. And then when Brock won, it was with Chamber. low key. So it was against other. It was always people involved.
Yeah.
So really, both wins aren't as clean as we make it seem.
And then the other pinfall one where he had him in the hurt lock, but then
And then
Brock
he
landed
fell
on
back.
top
Yeah,
of
and
him.
Saudi.
Yeah.
It's always been something not clean. So that's why the ending to Elimination Chamber made sense to me, because every time they fought, even though it's been that big fight feel, it's never been clean. Because that's the way they've been able to extend it.
Okay.
That's the way they've been able to create that story that we're all locked into. Like, we're like, okay, what's next?
I'm not disagreeing with you. 1,000% agree with you. But it's just like Omar's just a wrenching in like, what?
It's cause
But you're
niggas
not
ain't
seeing-
already
Y'all
niggas
not seeing
has
the
a
bigger picture though.
niggas
Okay.
is not already on the Omar's train anyway. So I think already.
am.
But I'm just saying in general. I think once Omar's did the challenge, everybody was like, "What? Like, what is he gonna do? Why would he do that?" And it's just like, damn.
It's to show how much of a menace Omos is. That's the point of this whole thing.
But he hasn't done nothing menacing though.
But the thing about it, him going up against Brock, one of the biggest bosses over the past 25 years
like
of,
Resident Evil.
of professional wrestling,
Nemesis.
and then like it's what is it doing is legitimizing Omos as that big man.
Yeah, because every person he's fought has been like someone that's been in the business over 10 years.
It's putting him over, and people keep acting like The thing about it is a couple of things you can't teach. You can't teach speed, and you can't teach size. Omos has size. You're not gonna find that walking down the street on any given day. He is athletic for his size, so he could do things. Yes, many people might not be a fan of him, but I like to have something like old school like that.
Definitely.
I agree with you. What Omos is an attraction.
Yes. Yeah.
He's over 7 foot tall. He's huge. Like pause, and it's
You could say he black.
and the thing about it, he speaks multiple languages. He's educated. He's super media trained. Like
Cool vibes.
but it's not. It's the
he's
bigger.
super nice.
It's the bigger
Low-key.
picture of the whole situation.
The aesthetic.
You put him into with Brock, you're gonna. It gives. That's a huge match.
Oh, okay, so that's the
Just aesthetically, looking.
so that's the casual fans match.
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah,
it's the end of the
but
story.
in the grand scheme of thing, and then that's where I'm with you on it, was it has to make sense in a
But
sense.
it
because-
does, though.
No, it does aesthetically. But
No,
the thing
even storyline
but,
wise.
but the thing was
Storyline-wise,
with
it does.
Omos, for Brock to go from Bobby to now Omos, you have to make Omos appear to be so legitimate to where he can win that match without needing outside help. Because I think if there's a situation where Omos wins and there's some outside sort of situation, everybody's got to be like super hurt business coming together. They got to be heels. Everything else they got to be bad guys, because Brock for right now really he's a face. So since
Black
that's the
History
case.
Month.
Yeah, but whatever the case may be with Omos, I think what they should have done was have him rack up victories against other, bigger, like if he had squashed Braun Strowman, something of that nature, and then he takes on other bigger guys and runs through them, him calling out Brock, people would sit there like, oh, wait a minute now. The biggest problem that I have is the fact that he calls out Brock, and nobody believes he'll beat Brock. So that's the only issue that I have with it. If they gave him some time between him calling out Brock and then, re-legitimizing himself, then I'd have been all for it. If there was like plotting the seed since like Survivor Series, or maybe even go back till SummerSlam, where his only loss was against Bobby. But because of the time that we've seen him on camera, whatever the case may be, he was never really presented as, I'm this big monster type dude anymore.
Let me ask you a question. Modern day WWE, right? They have legit big dudes, right? They have the Braun Strowmans, they have the Omos, they have Bronson Reed.
Yep.
They had my son in NXT, Saucy Santana. They got my son out there.
His
Saucy.
name is definitely not Saucy Man. Saucy Santana.
It definitely is Quincy.
Yeah.
Quincy, aka Saucy Santana.
That definitely is not. He definitely is not Saucy
But
Santana.
nevertheless, though, you have all these big dudes. Come on, man.
Yeah.
There's mad sugar in his tank.
Hey.
Like, literally, there's no gas. There's just sugar in there. So, with all these, I'm trying to be serious, y'all. With all these big
What you
guys, right?
said what you said.
It's not their fault. It's their size.
Yep.
the booking has not been favorable to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at what's the first one with the he had red pants. He was who am my son Rico?
We're Rico.
Braun Strowman, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Rico Booty. What about him?
The way that Triple H booked these book guys is terrible.
Yeah.
Vince booked him way better.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So he's going through these big guys, does nothing.
That's why I thought for Omos, if anything, have him fight Brunson Reed, because that's an unknown situation. Because with Reed coming up, looks like a monster. Thus far, he may have taken an L in the chamber, but look how they
He looked good in the
they
chamber.
they
Oh,
made
no, they
him
made him
lose
look
in the
real-
chamber with everybody
they
coming
literally,
together.
and we can now transition and talk about the men's elimination chamber. They literally made
transition.
everyone. Thank you. This is what I do. They literally made every single person in that chamber look really good. Even your boy Johnny Gargano. I said, damn.
And that's the thing that they
Even
have to do with
him.
these big guys in the rosters. Like they're like entertaining, but where's the menacing? When Big Show was here, you felt it, B. When Kane was here, you felt it.
But
Damn,
then,
what else big guys
they
in
took
WWE?
his mask off and then it was trash.
No.
That first year and a half was great.
Yo, when he came out with the dudes,
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance.
I
he
wasn't
was
scared.
wildin'.
I wasn't scared
He was
anymore.
wildin'.
I wasn't scared anymore.
Well, you wasn't scared when you saw his face?
No.
Oh, that was an
Tank-
ugly man.
Yo,
No.
tank top.
The whole
Yeah.
because you know what, my whole like beginnings of wrestling and that story between, like I always tell them, my favorite Mania is 14, and it's really more of the storylines than the actual like the actual show itself. I mean, the show is really good too, but the whole lead up with Taker and him, and then like my brother, and then being burned, and then Paul finding him, like all that shit. Like even after that, it still held on. Like but then when that mask came off, I was just like, he's a regular person now.
Okay. So take them
Now he's a regular. Yeah, correct. That's the perfect way to say it.
But just to add on, you said I definitely agree. Every man in that elimination chamber looked good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Logan Paul. He even looked good.
Listen, that lariat. Whoever taught Logan Paul that fucking buckshot lariat, he needs to thank him because he makes it look better than Hangman. I put down everything.
I feel like Heyman got more aggressive.
I think
Not after
Logan
Elimination
and
Chamber.
Logan low key. It's almost like an RKO out of nowhere. Like it literally was a lariat out of nowhere. Like my man, literally agile as fuck, popped on that top rope and flung himself and then hit him. Like
It looks
was
better because of his height and his length.
Well, it's you also got to look at it as Logan is fresh into wrestling, so his body does not have many bumps on his card.
I ain't gonna
His bump card probably got like 20,
Yeah,
25,
20 punches.
25 like clips in that.
And he don't wrestle like that either.
He doesn't wrestle like that. So I don't want to take anything from, and I understand what everybody's saying because it does look great. But I don't want to take anything. I don't want to take anything from Paige because
oh no, I love me some cowboy shit though.
it's bro, he's beat up.
Yeah.
Paige is like 35 years old. He's been wrestling for like how many years? And like
15.
like solid 15
He been wrestling
years
for a while, yeah.
Like, Logan Paul's out here looking amazing because he ain't beat up.
And think about Logan Paul go to his icy whatever high tech stuff like LeBron.
Adam Page goes to his pool in his house.
No. I'm talking about when his first year. Adam Page's first year compared to Logan Paul's first year. His first year, he probably cramped up in the car like this.
Yep.
Or then I go to the next show, or the next show, or I go back to my 9 to 5. And during that time, you was not getting health insurance.
Nope.
No, he was a teacher.
So you get good health insurance.
When he
so.
first started wrestling, when he first started out, he probably was working towards,
Yeah.
becoming a teacher.
probably
Because
working towards.
like at that point, you're in a situation where when you really, grind, hell, you know the grind. When you grind and you beginning, you ain't got no. Well,
Mike knows.
I
Mike
got
knows.
what I need.
Mike
struggle.
knows.
You
over
go.
there.
You really going through.
He
You
was
got to
getting
drive
he
from
was getting
show
three
to a different
things:
show.
a handshake, a hot dog, and some ring pussy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. and you be lucky if you get the third.
Lucky.
Sometimes
No, he
it's just
handsome.
your
He
hands and a
handsome.
tissue.
He handsome. He handsome.
Nah, he hands. He got long hair.
Yeah.
That don't mean it work
But
But
all
when
the
he
it's
time.
came up,
condition.
everybody had long hair and was
It's
handsome.
good conditioned.
Bro, come on.
But,
He's a
but the
cowboy
real-
with long
Yeah.
hair.
The real.
Not if you're in the wrong city.
I'm dead.
The aesthetic won't work in you in the
Not
wrong
in New York.
Ah.
won't work in New York.
It works easy in New York. You see how these. Never mind.
Not everywhere. Not everywhere.
What, the cowboy shit?
It's working definitely in New York.
Oh, that shit would definitely work here. But let's talk about the real MVP of the Elimination Chamber. Montez Ford.
Hell of a performance.
The last entry into the chamber. What did he not showcase him? The Spider-Man move, to where everyone stopped. I've never seen everyone just pause the way that everyone paused at the bar. Like everybody was like, "Oh, what is going on here?" Like just the overall, like just everything. It's just what they have planned with him being kind of the first solo match, and it's how big of a match it was. It was for the U.S. title. If he's not doing big things within the next year, just even solo, then I don't know what we're going to do. But it was just really good to see them really showcase him in that light. And really, Bianca had posted his gear because she knows she made this gear.
Fire.
And said that they only had, I think she said 48 hours for him to make the gear.
Yo,
and everything.
Not gonna hold you. She might be top tier wifey of all time.
Oh, without question. Fan.
Like
without question.
Like there's certain levels of wifey.
Describe the wifey levels.
But I think she's like she is definitely up, because you have to understand she got her own shit to do.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Her own
She
thing.
got her own thing going on. And she knew how important this match is. She out here probably up like 2 a.m. after wrestling.
Yeah, she said between the flights, right before when they got to Quebec in the hotel, like she literally
The level of dedication to this marriage.
And you know he don't even have to ask, because this is just who she is.
They don't even make them like that anymore, son.
Right?
They don't even make them like that anymore.
The next time that she has like a signing or something out here, I can't even lie to you, dog. I might have to take a piece of the head, go call up the scientist or something to try to make some sort of clone situation.
Because you gotta understand, it's a difference when like I got nothing else I got going on, but I have a ton of stuff going on.
She's the champion.
Literally the face of the women's division.
Yeah, and they were on a media run because they had because that was Valentine's Day week. So they were on Sherry's show here in New York. They had just did the Andy Cohen show like a few weeks ago. Like they literally just been like on the road and just popping in and out and doing media stuff.
That's what you call teamwork. And that's what you call a
but
black
actually,
woman.
it goes back to
you
know what one of my favorite pictures of them is when he first won the NXT tag titles when at that takeover. And backstage, that first, like when he came behind Gorilla and they had showed the clip of her like hugging him and he like broke down and like they took the pictures and stuff with him with the tag belt. I was just like, that's the type of support, like just not even just in wrestling, just in general that you want in a relationship. Like when you said top wifey, I was like, listen, Beth Phoenix need to be on that list, cause listen, the fact that she took a concerto for her nigga.
Oh, man.
She out here letting him still go back on the road and do what he loves and still kind of and still have two little girls at home. Like it's a lot to be on the road and in that type of. And we've talked about relationships and love and wrestling and things like that because it's not easy. Like you got a half the year you on the road. You don't like going back to the Paul Heyman promo. When he was out here talking to Cody, I was like, damn.
I felt every piece of that pro because legitimately, I thought he was gonna set it up in a because a bunch of people have been talking about, man, what if we could get Brandy and Heyman in the ring together? Please don't do that. It's not gonna be good. He's gonna destroy him.
He's going to.
But
like what you call it? What was his name on A-Dubs? That the fucking boxing dude, the UFC guy. What was his name? That OD'd her on AEW, and I was like, damn. Like there was
Whatever
nothing.
his name was.
Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert.
I'm
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Yeah.
There's to a point like certain couples can never break up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like trips and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care if
Yeah,
listen.
It's
I
too much
don't.
money
I don't
involved with
care who does what. It can't happen. Not on my watch.
Yo,
Like
Taker, Michelle
literally-
McCool.
No,
Oh yeah, Michelle and Take.
Montez
Nope.
Ford and
Yeah,
Bianca.
they can't break up.
Bro,
They
we're
can't break
invested
up.
now.
Yeah.
We all part of
We're
this
in the
marriage.
relationship.
Becky
We're in the
and
marriage.
Seth.
Becky and Seth.
Yeah, we're all in this marriage together.
Yeah. But and you know, I'm not even a sentimental guy. Like but for whatever reason, when WWE does that first moment through like the curtain,
Yeah.
and then you see especially if it's wrestler and wrestler and they together, man, that joint just gets me, dog.
Like
Because-
when Becky won the 2 belts at
Yeah.
Mania, it's so funny. So that same night, I saw the both of them together, and it hadn't been like it was rumored
Yeah.
that they were together. And I was at the host hotel, hanging out. And then we saw them come up the escalator. I had to text my homegirl Angie because my homegirl in Chicago. I was like, bitch, Becky and Steph are together, like for real, for real. They just came up this elevator together, like. But in that moment of when she won and he was the first person she embraced, like those are the moments you live for, like.
Yeah.
But the thing is, y'all can't break up now.
Nah,
Yeah,
like you can't.
Like,
You can't.
God, listen, Bianca Belair and Montez Ford have a family together, legit family. They got kids. They got they're married. If these two ever break up, I am on a one flight straight to their crib.
We're going to the house and
with
gonna
a
get on the
marriage
boat.
counselor.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna get on
Yeah.
the boat
Because
and
you
we're gonna
guys
work this
cannot
out.
break up.
Yeah,
and I
it's
know
not-
it's a lot of pressure on them because at the end of the day, it's their
that's a lot of
lives.
pressure.
Yeah.
It's what they got to do, but I don't care.
Look at like Naomi and
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
No,
They can't.
Nope.
These people cannot break up. And I'm telling them, especially Bianca and Montez, they cannot break up because you know what? We are invested.
Correct.
You know what? We are part of this marriage with you. Y'all got problems? Figure it out.
Fix it
Yep.
immediately.
Yep.
Why you like this?
Because it's the truth. Like,
Nah, they got to figure
they
it out.
gotta
I'm
figure it
invested
out.
now. I'm invested now. I like what you guys have going on. I know y'all got to have problems. Marriage is hard.
Yep.
Marriage is a journey. It's not a destination.
is your shorty a doctor yet?
Oh no, not at all.
You still with her?
Yeah.
Well,
She was actually at the. She was at
Yeah,
the show.
it scared me a little bit. When I asked, I was like, "Oh shit, no, y'all not
What
together."
show?
Oh shit.
Yeah, she was at the when we went to Raw, and I ran into you guys at Raw. Yeah, she was standing.
Oh.
right there,
Oh, you should introduce her then.
Oh, you know
I didn't even know.
that can't end.
Huh?
We're
What you
invested
mean?
now.
Oh, you invested,
I
damn.
kind of am too.
Yeah, like
Top
that's
pressure.
why I low key was trying to figure out a way how to ask about you and Shorty because I was just like,
we
You
still-
too.
I want to politely.
You too.
I think I've reached the point because all of y'all niggas are invested. So now,
Nah, it's
like it is the wildest thing. I always tell Mikey that all the time. I'm like, they like
can
you
never
way
break
more
up.
than me. I just want you to
Never break
know.
up. Yo.
Because even when
invested.
we first got together, Matthew he goes, should I get invested? Like, is this gonna be for real? And I was just like, you can get invested.
Never
if you
invested
like.
in
Yeah.
mines. Never get invested. I know. I tell them all the time. My brother
Yeah, I
knows.
think you've been in like in the 4 episodes that we've had. I think you've been in 2 different relationships.
solid too.
God damn.
And I never get invested. They were trying to be my friend and everything. I'm looking like
Nah, it was like
deep
one.
down
timeline.
inside. No.
It was one.
Look,
I think
my
I was
spirit-
like.
Deep down inside, I'm like, it's not gonna lie. There's a couple I liked.
There was the kind of like Loki. The last one, Loki. She was just like she was Loki ratchet, but it was like
I was rooting
still
for her,
liked her.
especially for her. I was rooting for her.
I still
but,
liked her,
but it was just
but,
like,
you know, at the end of the day, I always say his happiness it trumps everybody.
mind you, it's
okay.
never the woman, especially this last one. Like, who I still like support her business. I support her everything, but with him, you don't get too invested.
Listen,
Fair enough.
it's a roller coaster. You go on the ride, you enjoy yourself, and you get off.
That's it.
Wow, this nigga just basically said my life is Universal Studios.
Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
like basically,
There's different parts
his
and
relationship-
islands,
his relationship
islands
is-
of adventure.
right. No. Better yet, his relationship is like Kingdom Kai, where like it goes to the
Oh,
very top,
shit.
very fast. It comes down. All right.
Yeah, but essentially, because I look at it from, of course, in a relationship, there are the roller coasters, but the relationship should actually be the amusement park because you're going to go through all of the different roller coasters, but then you have to
Ooh,
stick through
that's
it,
a bar.
you know, with everything.
I
But
like that.
essentially, I kind of like what Chris Rock had said, you know, a relationship or even with a marriage, it's only becomes difficult when there's only one person that's working on it.
I
So
agree.
if both individuals have made the commitment to try to make it work, then it'll work. To a certain extent, because ultimately, if things
Listen,
you're unequally yoked and all
listen,
that other stuff,
listen.
then there's only so much
When
somebody
you're
can take.
carrying
but
a
it'll happen.
relationship,
Oh, it's pain. It's pain.
like my back hurts.
but
Oh,
see, but
absolutely.
there's gonna be parts in
But
the
that's where you
relationship
gotta have that
though.
intervention. You gotta sit them down, like, hey, listen.
No,
this
I-
was
No, but
Listen, listen.
there's gonna be parts
I'm
where you're
gonna be
gonna
like
carry
LeBron.
more.
Get traded.
Oh well.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Get off my team.
Wow.
No, what I like to do, I like to introduce, you know, just the idea of, you know, you're not. It's not as if you can't get replaced. I think that's you kind of have to introduce that.
But I like you the
kind of like
most.
when Vince had brought when the NWO came to WWE and you inject a little bit of poison into, you know, the business. So for me, anytime that things fall on hard times and it's an extended period of time, because of course there'll be days in which you're like, man, I don't even want to see you right now. And if that goes from days to weeks, you know you got a problem.
Yeah.
When it becomes months, you gotta
Checked out.
figure out what it is that you're really trying to do here. Because
Listen,
if you,
Nah,
there's
he,
no
nah,
way.
Nah, he
Sometime-
figures that out less than three to 5 business days.
You have
That's
you
this
have
one over
you
here.
have a solid 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
After that, if you start fucking up, we are done.
But yeah,
And I've
don't forget
texted-
about him. Don't forget about him. Like he's perfect on this
Yeah.
situation.
No, I've
Perfect.
texted them and I've tweeted this.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck on your future endeavors.
Fair enough. All right, Lauren.
But yeah, he's perfect.
I didn't say I
He
was
does
perfect.
nothing.
I didn't say I was perfect.
You know what is perfect? Those quadricep tendons. And those
Yo,
calves.
why
Tell you
why Mikey just texted me
Gotta wiggle it.
saying he said, "Yo, the nigga sitting next to Wilkins with the shorts has me dead. It's like he's Wilkins Trick Williams." I said that's funny as hell.
That's my heat right there. It's my
Listen,
heater.
man.
Y'all do look alike though.
No, we don't.
No,
What
not
are we
at all.
talking
What?
Not at all.
about? Not at all. It's just
Not at all.
making shit up.
Right?
It's just making shit up for no reason. But anyways,
You
back
have
to
similar swag. Like you have
No,
similar like energy. It's
first
good.
things first. Dynamite sucked last.
Wait, no,
2
hold
days
on.
ago.
Before we what?
It's just like okay. This is me just being honest. Like
You can talk about this after the
oh,
show.
we're talking about after. Yeah.
The one thing that got him intrigued was like, wait, hold on, you trying to come at me or what? He said, "I'm just here. I'm a prop."
Yeah.
I didn't do these hands.
But no, just real quick to wrap up Elimination Chamber. Austin Theory did retain the title. They did plant the seeds for Logan Paul. They continue planting the seeds for Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins, which will be really, really good
The main
at
event.
WrestleMania. And then the main event, where we had Roman Reigns versus the hometown hero Sami Zayn. Yes, Roman retained, but the battle ended, but the war I think is still going on. So we fast forward to we had Jay come out, he's smashing Jay like he did Sammy at Rumble. I was like, oh my god, this is not okay. And then, but once again, it's the little things. And then Kevin Owens coming out, letting him have his 10 seconds, and then him letting Sammy finish up. It just was overall a really, really great pay-per-view, top to bottom. They 6 matches in and out. They did really good with that. So now we're really officially fast tracking to WrestleMania, where once again you have Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley so far. You have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed world title. You have who else is? You have Asuka versus Bianca Belair locked in. So let's see what else the next 4 or 5 weeks left.
Yeah, they need the IC, the US,
Yes.
and the
Well, the U.S. title, I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
gonna let
gonna
y'all
be
know, it's
Cena.
gonna be
It's
Jonathan
gonna be
Cena.
Cena.
They just announced Raw will be the Raw March 6th.
Oh, it's gonna be in his hometown.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be in
Yeah.
Boston,
And
Cena's making an appearance.
Theory had mentioned in his promo,
And his- the press
this
conference.
in the press conference, and
Yeah.
then also again in the promo leading into his battle against Edge, he had also name dropped Cena again. So with that being the case, they've already planted the
If
seeds.
Cena comes back, he gotta come back as so.
Nah, he gotta
Nah,
come.
he did- yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
my man
yeah,
gotta
it's-
come out Jersey,
Yeah,
Thugonomics,
yeah.
legit. Like he
That's
gotta,
the only way.
he gotta
That's the
face
only way.
Austin Theory in the phase that
Yeah.
he was in.
Yeah.
Like he's in
Yeah,
that
that's the only way.
Thugonomics phase, and so he has to meet him
Yeah.
where he's at. So I'm excited for
And after
that.
he has to win. And
You
bring back the old school US
and
title.
what's interesting about
Yo,
even with
what
all
if
the
Cena
title
won
matches,
and bought the spinner belt?
yeah,
And
he
you-
might,
Holy
he
shit.
might. But then the only problem is how long would he be champion and who takes him down? Does he still do the open challenge
Till
like he was doing?
SummerSlam.
So it can work depending on what his booking situation
Wow,
is.
could
But
we-
it can work. It could be legitimately Cena as the U.S. champion,
Y'all
and it could
really
work.
think
Yo,
there.
Cena's gonna win.
Could
No,
we
I
get
personally
Summer
think he's
Cena?
gonna lose. I think he's gonna lose.
Could we get Summer Cena?
But
No, we are not.
if his schedule allots the time to where he actually can do it, he could legitimately win.
Yeah.
But me personally, I'm right there, which there ain't no way he gonna
Yeah,
win.
the
thing
He's
about
gotta
it,
lose.
he's what we're getting right now is we are legit getting the evolution of Austin Theory.
Yup, absolutely. He has to win.
It's it's not a rocket on his back. It's like he's slowly going up this mountaintop.
cooking.
It's what
on
they
a
should have done
car-
last year.
on a car right now, and he's getting up there.
Yep.
And he has the heat. He has the ring ability. He has the look. Everything. He's doing everything right. And him losing to Cena, would be like how you guys feel when a part-timer takes somebody's title.
Mm-hmm.
It does nothing good for the U.S. for the
Okay, you know
mid-level
what? That's
division,
fair.
Absolutely.
and it does nothing good for Austin. I understand the shock value and the picture of the whole thing of John Cena, who is one of the greatest U.S. champions of all time, but it does nothing for Austin.
Oh, yeah, of course.
See, because the only way that I would envision a situation in which you have Austin Theory lose the title is if he was U.S. champion and still had the Money in the Bank, then it could work. Because you can have a situation where, and this is where things could get crazy, if only, he still was the Money in the Bank guy. You lose the U.S. championship to Cena. You still have the Money in the Bank. Cody goes over and wins the title. Then at the end of everything, you would have Austin Theory go and then cash in. That would make Austin Theory so legitimate. It ruins the story of Cody, so it doesn't really work.
They're not going to do
But
that.
the only way you can have a situation where Theory can lose that title on his ascension right now and still keep his legitimacy and not get crushed is if he still did mess around and have the briefcase. But he doesn't. So it makes no sense to have him lose. But on WrestleMania, one of the biggest matches that, of course, there's no plans for right now, but Gunther, whoever he shares the ring with, it's gonna be special. Because personally, for me, before the whole Cena and Theory situation was created, because once they announced that Cena I had a feeling it was gonna be him and Theory, but I was hoping they would have a Gunther take on Austin Theory, U.S. champion versus IC champion, not for unification purposes, because at first I thought they were maybe thinking about doing that, but just to see who's the better champion. Because Gunther's performance in the Royal Rumble, you can't not capitalize on that. That guy is going to be, I think he should be the longest reigning IC champion all time.
How old is he?
Yeah.
I think he's 30. He's got to be like 35.
early 30s.
Yeah, 34, 35.
Let's see.
But you cannot have WrestleMania and not have him have a legitimate match. I know they may want to run it back with Sheamus or whatever the case may be, but it seems like Sheamus and McIntyre got their own thing going.
Yeah, he's
so
35.
they're going to be doing the tag team stuff. So they need
he's on the
Gunther to
cusp.
fight somebody and
Who?
give them a magnificent match.
The
It's just a
thing
matter
though
of who.
is I think I kind of wanted them to save it for SummerSlam because, as you mentioned, SummerSlam is really Brock's kind of thing. So if they can figure out a way to get Brock and Gunther for SummerSlam versus Mania, I think it'll hit a little different. But they could also pull the trigger at Mania too, because they had that face off in the Rumble, and it's ever since then it's been like this was the match I didn't think I needed to see, but now I need to see it.
Yeah.
So I think definitely Brock is on that docket for Gunther for IC champion. But other than that,
That would be fine, like a triple threat, Almas, Gunther, and if Gunther wins, he beats
Yeah,
both of them.
but then they still have, because the problem is, and I think that's where the confusion with Wyatt kind of is, because with Bobby, Wyatt, you're not sure what angle they want to go with everything, and then with Brock and Gunther, I thought the same thing.
That would be
This
better.
got to be the Mania sort of situation.
Because it's 2
But
nights.
then once they had Omos do the call out, that's where I sat there like, wait a minute, I don't know what the
So
hell's
that goes
happening.
back to the beginning when we said ever, like, Almas literally like a wrench. I'll be real, it sounds like this is a Vince match. Vince came because
but there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, there's not a problem with that.
Yeah,
But
there's
then
nothing wrong with it.
with Gunther, I just want him to get his legitimate spot, because I'm happy we don't have no 7-hour WrestleManias no more, and you can break it into 2 days, which is great, so everybody can get their time. But for him, it's essential that dude gets at least 15 minutes. Give him a dance partner in the ring, whether it's for the IC championship, and obviously if he's the champion, he's gonna have to defend. But if he was to take on another champion or something of that nature, give him an opportunity to go and showcase for 15 minutes, like why I'm the dude, because he needs to be featured
it should
on
be,
that show.
It should be Bray versus Gunther, but I'm gonna tell you why. Add the story element to Gunther. Gunther is a general in the ring.
Yep.
General in the ring. Ooh, but okay. adding that story element is great. But my thing is, I ain't gonna lie, I'm over Bray Wyatt.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
I am over Bray Wyatt. He has done nothing in the ring where it justifies how great he is.
since 2014.
Like
That was his last. I think that was the last best year that he had. Really.
like it's. But I would want him to put over Gunther.
Who?
Mhm.
Bray?
Bray.
But he stay losing.
It'd
big
be his
dog.
first L.
But I think no, but
that should be Bray's first L.
I think that Bray's in that position of like putting people over. Like I don't, but Bray's always been that chess piece on the board where he doesn't have to win. For him to still be able to carry the character or carry the story or be able to move on, like. You know, even down to like if we rewind to the whole when everyone says that Bray should have beat Taker at that Mania, to now fast forward to the moment that they just had on Raw, it was just like he has his own, I think, path and his own like puzzle pieces that he's putting together for himself, but I don't think it's a win or loss type of situation. I don't think it's like I gotta have a title to prove to myself or things like that. Like I think he's now in that position of like whatever talent he can do a program with that he's willing and able to put them in a bigger light. Because even though LA Knight everybody was kind of like starting to get on board with, but then when the whole with him and the Fiend and that became a thing, it was every week everyone was talking about LA Knight.
Okay, I agree with you. I'm not taking away for you. Cool. But I feel for him to take a loss, it should be down the road to flesh out who he is as a person. Because we still a little bit too much mysteries behind him. We don't know who his Uncle Howie is. We don't know who is there. We don't know who else he's connected to. Should he get a loss eventually down the road? Of course. But right now, let it flesh out because you need more bone to the story.
But I think it also needs more characters in this story.
Yeah.
Because I think we're at a point where he's narrating the story over and over again, and it's not completely connecting because it's just him more or less talking.
Yep.
Where me as the audience, especially the audience that we have now, which is like this, instant gratification type of thing, you need more chefs in this kitchen right now to cook this up so I can get more connected to it. Because the Uncle Howie is cool, but then it's like, damn, what else is going on?
Well, we have the Firehouse. We have the Fire from Funhouse this Friday on SmackDown.
But that's what's
to
helping.
See what's next. But I think it does play. It plays a role of the type of fans that I think most people are now. It has to be like tomorrow. It has to be this. It has to be that. And necessarily with his character, it's a snail's pace. It's a snail's game. So we just got to play those pieces. Let's talk about this week in wrestling real quick. Once again, we talked about Raw a little bit here and there where Omos did challenge Brock Lesnar on Raw. They had what else happened on Raw? I'm trying to think.
Edge in Theory.
That main event,
and
and Finn came out and they finished in that, which I think is pretty dope though, because I think eventually Edge should put over Finn Balor low key, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, didn't he before when Finn had beaten him at was it SummerSlam? Was it?
Yeah, but
he had beaten him at one of the pay-per-views. Finn had won, and he beat Edge, and then Edge went off television after they had jumped him the following.
I
day
think it was
on Raw.
SummerSlam.
It
then
might have been SummerSlam.
I think it was SummerSlam.
Yeah, because I think
what
the way they're gonna cap off the stories with Edge, ultimately going over and getting the W. But the only problem that I have with their whole thing was with Rhea Ripley obviously going to take on Charlotte. With Beth, this is kind of the send-off for Beth with that tag match, and they went over. So now I don't want to see Rhea interfere in any business Judgment Day that involves Edge. Because now that she's taken that L, Beth got her comeuppance, they need to separate Rhea from getting involved with Edge, because you can't now introduce Beth back in, and then she now steps in because Rhea's got to worry about Charlotte. So they need to separate her from the entire thing.
And I think they're doing it. I think they're starting it this Friday because they're having the face-off with Charlotte and Rhea on SmackDown. So I think they're starting to position her away separate from Judgment Day so that she can focus on getting the title.
But the one thing I do like about what Triple H's reign of being in charge is, he may separate you, but commentary will mention Rhea Ripley of Judgment Day.
And that's commentary's job.
Right. And after they will have like the nameplate and still be Judgment Day. Unlike AEW, we have all these champions, but you don't mention. Like, I forgot that Willow Yuta was champion.
Yo, Loki did until he took the title out. I was like,
and he came out with it. I'm looking like, all right, cool.
Okay, ROH.
Because ROH is not a real place.
Anyway, now we can talk about A-Dubs. and how
So first of all,
We are-
Tony Khan, right? Yo, you're gonna get on the internet.
the hype man of all time.
You get on the internet
Okey-dokes,
talking about a big
everyone.
announcement.
A big announcement.
So my ass gets home. I get home.
my man tricked for
Seven-
the ratings.
7:30.
Can I see
The
that?
flashlight's on, big dog.
I make I make my meal prep. I'm sitting there. I'm excited. I'm like, what's he about to talk about? My connect hits me up. He's like, yo, he's not gonna sign nobody. I was like, what's this all about? He's like, just watch. So I'm watching. And this motherfucker Tony Khan comes across my television screen talking to Renee. Renee, damn son. Yeah, I see why Moxie.
She got the natural beauty.
Yeah, Moxie did his thing on that one, boy. Moxie did his thing. But anyways, Renee's interviewing my man Tony Khan. You know, a little powder on the nose. He's hype. He's like, I got a great announcement. Yeah. He said, I'm gonna let Adam Cole talk about it. Excuse me?
Hey,
Excuse me?
Tony
I got a show
Khan will
coming out.
make an announcement, a big announcement. Tony Khan announced Adam Cole.
And then Adam Cole comes out, like my brother said, hey guys, you know, I haven't wrestled in a long time, but I'm back. And you can see me and all the AEW stars behind the scenes on our new reality show called AEW Access, following AEW Dynamite every week Wednesday.
No, but the part that killed me was where he said a Wednesday in March. He didn't even give the date. You don't even know when it's coming.
So I'm sitting
Because
there.
in all honesty, it's so funny because I feel like I get more excited about this. Have you seen the Slap Show
Fire.
after AEW?
Fire.
I look
Fire.
forward to the Slap Show
Yes. You saw the
every
Slap
Wednesday.
Show?
But listen.
Oh,
You
that's-
gotta watch
This
it.
bigger fish to fry right now is the fact
The
that
Slap Show is
weekly we are getting these announcements.
No, he only do announcements after WWE has a fire pay-per-view. You don't know
Yeah,
this?
but I'm just saying I am tired of this. You could have tweeted about this. You could have made
That
a
was
commercial.
definitely a
You could have done a
tweet-worthy.
promo, but you made no. But the thing about it, you got me. I ain't gonna lie.
He got
Tony
the views.
got me.
Listen, when them
Tony
views
got me.
when them views come out, I want to see for that
But
15-minute segment what that was.
But this moment was a very. It was a newsworthy thing, but not the type of newsworthy that you think it is.
That you get a segment at your TV show for.
What it was is that it showed that the networks are happy with AEW. You just gave them a 4th hour of content.
But they had one before with the Cody.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that was more Cody. It was AEW because Tony Khan was executive producer on there. But they're still giving them more TV time.
Which is interesting because I think the viewership for this past Rampage was like under 300,000 people.
What was the weekend though? It was President's Weekend. Everyone's traveling.
Bro.
All-Star Weekend. No one's home.
No,
No.
well, there's
No.
different ways you can look. There's different ways you can look at
And
this.
it's too late too.
But
That's
that's
the
really
problem.
what it is. It's
That's the
not
problem.
It's not the fact that there's another sports show going on or NBA game, West Coast time. It's none of that shit. It's the fact that it's a 10 o'clock show on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Who's watching that?
Okay, here's my honest opinion why sometimes like I don't be watching a Rampage because I forget. SmackDown been fire. A solid 2 hours that took it out of me. I'm like,
You know where SmackDown fell last year? From 2021 to 2022, SmackDown is on the top 100 top rated shows on television.
Mm-hmm.
Also Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand like the content that WWE puts out still pulls viewership. Now, when it comes to AEW, I'm not mad at Dynamite because it does show 800,000 to 1 million.
That's good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they got another hour of content. They're building their brand. Now, if they're doing it the right way, probably not. I don't believe it. But at the end of the day, they're still pulling out people to watch.
And the commercials, they get better sponsors.
They're
than
getting more
commercials.
sponsors.
Yeah.
It was interesting the other day. I was at work, right? And I'm with a client, and then this dude's talking to one of the other trainers. And he's like, oh, yeah, brother. He's like, oh, my God, that was the best time in wrestling. I looked over to the right. I said, excuse me? He said, yeah, that was the greatest time in professional wrestling ever. He's talking about the Hogan era.
Oh.
And then I looked at him, I was like, maybe, but think about he's around our age, which I don't understand why he said that dumb crap.
Because honestly, most guys that's like either in their like mid to late 30s, they grew up on the Hogan thing.
But then he was like, you know what? The Rock and Steve Austin, that was a good. I was like, yeah, it's good. And the reason why I bring it up is because, yes, Attitude Era was the most relevant time in professional wrestling, but we also got to look at the time that the Attitude Era was there.
It was crash television then.
Not even that. Cable television was a thing.
Yeah.
And it just started. It got more affordable.
It got more affordable.
And everybody got the black box.
Yeah.
In New
Yeah.
York.
So so at
for
the
the
time
Caribbean, too.
of the Attitude Era,
It was a cable boom.
it was a boom.
Mm-hmm.
So they came around the right. Don't get me wrong. It was quality wrestling that we were all watching. You can argue that it wasn't. You can argue that it was not.
Debatable. The words
It's
of Janelle.
debatable. But the mere fact that WWE has one of the highest gates it ever had, and you probably can throw inflation in there, that Janelle just said, says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
2.5 million plus people are watching SmackDown.
It never felt like, honestly, just hindsight being 2020, Raw never felt under 1 million.
It maybe once in a blue moon it did.
My bad, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it did,
misspoke,
but at
yeah.
the same time, it doesn't. It's still
Like
top.
it averages 1 million.
Yeah, it averages 1 million
There you
plus.
go. There
Like
you
it's
go.
1.5
There you
to
go.
1.8.
Yeah, averages.
But what I'm trying to say is that wrestling is still relevant. As much as people try to say nobody watches wrestling, you still watch that. People still watch it.
On
And
YouTube.
or the mere fact it falls in the top. SmackDown falls in the top 60 ratings from last year. Top 60.
That's wild. When you think about it.
That is crazy. And Raw was in the top 100. And then WWE on Sci-Fi still was in the top 100. So that means AEW's falling in the top 150, 200 of shows that are on television. And is that people still watch wrestling, and I'm happy that they got this third hour. That announcement was trash. But the fact that they got another hour of putting out content shows the relevancy of professional wrestling. Like, Vince McMahon asking for $9 billion, I ain't even mad
Look,
at you.
I ain't
dog.
mad at
That's
you.
perfect.
Get your money.
You should ask for 10.
Low
Because,
key.
no. Honestly, because personally, I think that why is $9 billion is kind of like that's it. Because give and take, the top stars, they say the top stars is like, including NXT, you have 100 legit top stars. These top stars, unlike professional athletes, you can place them anywhere. Commercial, because they know how to act. You can put them any situation because they're not bringing 500 people with their entourage. They're bringing themselves. And they know how to carry themselves. And let's say you have a Usos, you put a brand deal right there, little Cheerios right there, boom. Brock, he had Jimmy Dean on his shirt.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine
Jimmy.
all the athletes had little brand deals on them. As a company, I'm buying that $9 million, that $9 billion. I'll eat that right now. Cause I'll make that tenfold, 20-fold throughout. Even the first year, I'll make that. Talking about merchandise. You talking about how that? Hey, do you have any other wrestling? Yeah, cool. You got like a little battle club might get bought into this, that, or third. Regardless of what it is, $9 billion, like my brother said, you got archives of wrestling, the YouTube page, the Twitter page. Come on. One segment on Raw, it may do like, prime example, Bobby Lashley and Lana. Yo, on YouTube, those numbers were crazy. Raw could hit $1 million. But imagine that you get revenue off a YouTube number. You know about revenue. $2 million?
That's why he a millionaire.
Allegedly.
Dang.
Allegedly.
Dang.
My man pulled a Jonathan Cena. He was like, you can't see me.
It's not.
Like I said, it's the fact that they got a third hour.
Mm-hmm.
The network's happy with these guys. I couldn't stand that episode of Dynamite last week.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
MJF segment was trash.
He did the same thing he does.
Yo, I thought Daniel Bryan low-key gave him a receipt with that fucking uppercut.
Probably did.
Yo, because the camera cut so hard to the left, like it moved so hard away from him. I was just like, yo, did he really like knock him out?
but
What the fuck going on here?
like, listen, John Moxley. Let's talk for a second.
Yo.
John Moxley, I understand that you like bleeding. You enjoy this. This is a rush. You cut yourself. You go drink your beers in the back. Is he off alcohol?
Yeah, he's
still
off alcohol.
So
He does wine.
What?
He does you drink wine.
No.
So he probably gonna go in the back. Sit down.
No.
Sit down with Renee.
No drinking.
And and enjoy your life.
Virgin Heineken.
Maybe this is somewhat your addiction of cutting yourself. This needs to stop. Bleeding in AEW has taken the luster out of it. Because not every match you need to bleed.
Correct.
Not every
Correct.
match.
I don't need you to bleed in every match.
That him versus Uno, Evil Uno, it would have been fire, but you bled how many weeks into that? So it took away of Evil Uno bleeding.
Yeah, he started bleeding, and then John started bleeding. I was like,
I'm
everybody
took
bleeding.
it away because you've
Why
been
is everybody
bleeding ever since. It takes away because back in the day when I saw blood in WWE,
Blood meant
ooh,
something. Blood meant
in video
something.
games, ooh, when they introduced the blood, oh my god, hype.
So let me ask you this, Chiseled Adonis.
Yeah.
You are a sports guy. You do a lot of reaction videos to all types of sports. You a UFC guy?
Yeah, from time to time.
Yeah.
So do they bleed in every match in UFC?
No.
My point exactly. If they don't bleed in actual professional mixed martial arts, where they're using hands and feet, once again, hands and feet, and they don't bleed in every match, why are you bleeding in every match, Mr. Moxley?
I'm surprised.
Even boxing.
Yeah.
Even boxing, like there be some like if they do have blood, it's to cut out something with it. But as far as if they bleed like John Moxley, nah, match is over.
Yeah, because it's gotten to the point now, because if you talk about like top bleeders of all time, or bladers, whatever the case may be, of course you got a Flair up there who just, he want to bleed, taste his own blood, whatever the case may be. He's into his own DNA. You got Triple
Pennies.
H, people of that nature, Cena during the
How about
04
Mick
to
Foley?
Foley from time to time. Well, now that I think about
Terry
it, Foley.
Funk?
Terry Funk, yes. Foley, it
Abdullah the
depends.
Butcher.
Abdullah the
I can
Butcher,
keep going if you
He
want.
only bled on pay-per-views, which it makes sense.
Yeah, because you have to, bleeding has to mean something. Like right now, there's a yearning for blood in certain feuds in WWE where things can, as it continues to grow, you're like, man, this person, they've got to bleed. So there can be a lust from the people and demand from the people for blood to happen. But when you're bleeding every single match, the blood no longer means anything. Because if I'm on commentary every Wednesday you bleeding, how am I supposed to now tell a story to the public? Oh, my God, now he's bleeding. He's been lacerated. Well, we saw him lacerated last week. He's fine.
It's like he has a disease and his
Exactly.
body can't blood
the,
clot.
the moment that blood
That's
is
wild.
introduced, it should take the match to another level because we've gotten to another level of physicality.
but-
if you're in regular matches where you're winning no problem and you bleed, and then you're in grueling matches and now you start bleeding, it doesn't mean the same anymore.
See, so they fucked up on the stipulation. So that once again they're on the road to Revolution, which will be next Sunday.
They have a Texas
So
Death
make
Match.
sure to RCP for that at Legends.
Descriptions.
But they're having a Texas Death Match at Revolution. But in all honesty, it probably should have been a First Blood match.
Yep.
To be honest,
Yeah, but
like
then at the same
we
time,
fucked that up. Like there was an opportunity for that because I think us as fans have been on the overload of like, yo, he's always bleeding. He's like the last week, it took like it was under 2 minutes. It was like, what are we doing here? So I right, like it didn't even, we didn't even go to commercial. He was bleeding, and I was just like, "What are we doing?" But but like you mentioned, it takes away from that intensity. It takes away from the story of it all because it's like this is just what you do naturally. It doesn't. It's how do we elevate the character when that's all the character does?
You don't like.
So it's
Look,
weird.
I love blood. I love violence. Like I love it. But bro, every week I'm tuning in, like.
Yo, what does that laundry bill look like for the mats and shit?
They probably
Y'all
have
ordering new mats every week?
Like, but like overall, it's
I
just
know
like
it's crazy.
yo.
I've always wondered what is the prop what's the prop budget in like WWE whenever they got cars or chairs, food. Every time they have a food fight,
Now
I'll be
that I
ready
think
to
about
run
it, it's
backstage.
probably sponsored. Low
Oh, yeah, it's
key.
got to be.
By the locals.
I remember
yeah.
there was a Raw
Like when you said
in
props, it made me think.
Brooklyn, and I can't remember who they had a bunch of hot dogs.
Was it the hot dog stand
Yeah, it
where
had-
Ambrose came
and
out?
I remember
that.
I was sitting in the crowd, and when they
Stuff
flipped
that you want during
the hot
wrestling.
dog, I'm over there like, man, I should rush the ring, because I'm hungry at this point, man.
There was quality hot dogs too.
They could have. It was quality. It was Nathan's. I'm like, man, you should have just been throwing them into the stands or something like that. I catch a hot dog. And, like, come on, man. It's getting ridiculous.
man
So,
said-
so you
my
wanted-
man said, "Let me
you
get a
wanted to
glizzy."
catch glizzies.
I don't
You
know
want to
all that.
catch
See,
glizzies?
you know.
Catch
That's
glizzies?
what you said.
I'm looking for produce that I can consume in an effort to stay, non-famished. And indeed, chiseled, yes, indeed, cut up like Nicole Brown Simpson. But we're not talking about that right now. Yeah.
Cut up like Nicole
That
Brown
is-
Simpson.
That's a bar, Loki.
Anyways, so to continue,
I'm sorry, I just visually see the shit, so it's just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
morbidly
Took some shoots earlier,
hilarious,
so I'm
but
I'll go back
funny as hell.
to Tony Storm
but
and Soraya being overrated. Once again,
they had and Jamie Hayter did a promo,
she was trash.
which Britt did not interrupt, which I appreciate. But once again, her still being there, it still overshadows her. So you guys are not listening.
Where's Jay?
Don't get me started on that.
Where's Willow?
So Willow's on Rampage this week going against Tony Storm, which actually would probably be a really good match, and I may tune in just for that. But
Just for Willow.
But that's always been the difficult part. Is like now they're literally a week away. They're going into the week of their pay-per-view. So like Dynamite next week will be at the Cow Palace. Rampage will be live next week. So these are they're leading up to the pay-per-view, and they still have not given Jade any type of what are we doing? Like how does that work? And then are you gonna rush the Samoa Joe and Wardlow thing? Are you gonna now you have a four-way tag team match, which honestly is unnecessary because you already had the writing for the Acclaim and then the Gun Club, and y'all could have did that without the extra tag teams. Because now you had this week, you had Jeff. Y'all know I love me some Jeff Jarrett, so I don't care. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal winning the Battle Royal, and then next week there's another Battle Royal for the other team.
And that match,
What?
the Acclaim versus the Gun Club, I wouldn't mind them seeing them bleeding at the pay-per-view. If it was a one-on-one match, that's the match you call for bleeding. But now, because of John Moxley, you ruined blood for me. Thanks, John.
Well, there that go. I'm trying to think what
You
else.
got
but
on
yeah.
Cody about that. I know Cody heard our episode. We teased him. Then he stopped bleeding.
So you know that I heard that Kobe got some heat backstage.
Who?
Cody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has some issues backstage.
With who?
He's stepping on some toes and
Because he taking Triple H's advice and just putting the feet to the pedal.
yeah, he's having some type of issues supposedly backstage. Just want to throw that out there.
You know what? Being in wrestling, I'm just going to say this, is no matter what you do, you understand? Because he's bringing eyes to the audience. Me as a referee, I see it this way. You could be Dominican, I don't care who you are. Listen, as long as you're the main event bringing butts to seats, I don't care.
See, that's interesting. But who could possibly have issues
People are jealous.
with
because,
Cody?
Because
No, because they can be
jealousy.
individuals who now if it's a matter of cutting time, because of course Cody's entrance. I mean, hell, it's not as long as Roman's.
It's not as long as
but
Roman's.
The pyro budget. Somebody's not.
Oh,
getting
both
eaten.
of them. Yeah,
Somebody not. You're not having dinner because they got to put that money towards Cody's entrance. Now, if there's something like that, then I understand. But if it's a matter of this guy just came back to the company and they're positioning him like this. Well, he left the company, made himself legitimate, returned back. He's a star.
You hear that,
Best
guys?
example,
You hear that,
Drew
guys?
McIntyre.
You hear that,
he
guys?
left,
Oh, that.
was Galloway, came back, went to NXT. He came back legitimate.
So I got a question for you guys. Do you think Kenny's leaving AEW?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah,
Without
yeah.
question. I believe
Yeah.
he will show up
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
to
just don't know.
WWE
So
SummerSlam
see,
after
but
SummerSlam.
that's my
Yep.
thing. I don't know if WWE is the route. I don't know.
I think where hasn't he been?
Okay, good point. Because that's the same. That was the issue with AJ when AJ signed. Because AJ really had been everywhere, and then
Yeah.
there was nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
But do you see as you can see, Cody being in the AEW world, he always seemed like the anomaly. He always seemed like the odd man out. Do you think if Kenny comes to WWE, will he be the odd man out in this scenario?
No, because thank God for the trailblazers of the Daniel Bryans. You feel me? The Daniel Bryans, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. The guys who came from the Indies. Seeing Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens main event a pay-per-view, that's something of Indies' darling dreams.
That took years, though, to get to.
Doesn't matter, though.
Yeah, because since it had already happened.
Right.
And here's the beautiful thing for Kenny is he can go, if he were to join WWE today, there's a laundry list of people who he can work with and put on not only quality matches, but then quality
see him
feuds,
and Seth offer it.
right? So straight out of the gate, when he shows up, you don't need to rush him into a bunch of matches. This is one of the reasons why I enjoy what they're doing with Cody, and I feel as if the injury actually did him.
It was a blessing in disguise.
Much more of a blessing, because I loved back in the day when you had guys that, of course, you're on the program, but you're not wrestling every single week. I think that's what made Asuka very special, because there's still an allure to it, right? So if you now bring in Kenny Omega, he comes into WWE after SummerSlam, and there's already going to be, rumors buzzing on who's going to work with, whatever the case may be. You can plug him in with any of your top guys, and it could work. You can even throw him maybe into the mid-card and have him work his way up, whether he's going towards the IC title or he's going after the United States Championship. Or maybe it's not even going after a title. He's just doing a program with somebody. He can legitimately be protected for maybe about a year to a year and a half, at max 2 years, before he even has to touch gold.
So wait, I got a question. You good. Like, I got a question, right? This is how fans are very fickle. You brought up the point that he could be like untouchable for a whole year and a half, right? What was the problem with Cody winning when he has to win? Because it feels like fans pick and choose who like win all the time.
Oh, because they were sold on Sammy,
Yeah.
right? So they wanted Sammy to now become the pseudo Daniel Bryan from 2014. But the difference was Cody wasn't Batista. Cody wasn't just somebody who just came back. Cody had came back last WrestleMania, and then he was already ascending, and then the injury had happened. So when he came back, because everything with Sammy was so organic, they said, man, we can't slow down this heat. That's why I actually believed WWE heard the people, and they had Sammy and Cody get in the ring together and have Cody endorse Sammy, have Sammy, not necessarily endorse Cody to a certain point, because he would ultimately have to take on Cody if he had won. But having two of those big baby faces together, now the fans can't really try to pit them against each other.
Now, you're not booing them. You're just
you're
cheering both of them because they both have a similar goal, which is the Roman thing. So but it's like whoever the lesser of the two, whoever can get to him first. I'm gonna fuck with both of them, but whoever can get to him first, I'm gonna ride with and cheer for a little harder.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense
because it's the whole thing where everyone was fearful, and we gotta wrap up. It was the whole thing where everyone was fearful about the putting Cody and Sammy in the same ring together in Brooklyn at that point, because they were like, they didn't know what the crowd was going to do or how we were going to react to it. But literally the whole arena was quiet. Everyone listened to what they were saying. Everyone was geared and actually backing up both individuals. And that was kind of the first time I've really seen that in a long time, where two really big baby faces in that sense really got the love from the crowd itself. And I think they didn't think the Sammy thing would go as long as it did. And they've really done a really great job at really keeping it going, because now, yes, he didn't get to Roman, but he now can still figure out a way still to take down the bloodline, which is now going after the tag titles. So now to most likely be
what's your main event night one?
Correct. I would do that if it was me. I would have the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn main event night one. I have a question that they know I only really listen to two other podcasts. It'd be Jim Cornette or Disco and Conan. So Disco and Conan had
Jim Cornette now.
So it was a clip about them talking about the Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar segment. And Conan was he's like, I'm very heavy on Santos. He's very great. He's very professional. He's always been, wanting to be better and do better and all this other stuff. And then as I'm listening to it, I said, holy shit, what if this was a way to get Ray to align with Santos and them to eventually take on the Judgment Day? What if that was the way to do that? Where, right, listen, when I listened to the clip and I thought about it, it blew my mind. I said, wait, what if this is the way where he gets the help that he needs to take on these niggas? Because it would be, they would do it for their culture.
Yeah.
How monumental,
fight,
like how monumental of a
Heritage Month.
How monumental of a match that would be for like a SummerSlam.
It'd be
That's
a
real
great match at
SummerSlam match.
SummerSlam. I thought they were building this entire thing towards Mysterio versus Mysterio at Mania, which I still think can happen, but
That could be SummerSlam,
it's
big
just
dogs.
no. It could.
I
but
think
then
I think they may even push it even to like next year. Like
yeah, they may be because they should now. I don't think it would work for this Mania because
No.
I think
Too much.
it's too much.
You got
that's
Cody,
happening.
you got
Yeah.
Sammy, you got
Yeah.
everybody else kind of like, and you got Logan and Seth, like you got everybody
That's
else
too
in the
much dope for you.
limelight.
Right.
Yeah,
there.
but it
Too
would.
much.
I like that idea because it works.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only downside would be when the ladies get involved. Zelina not doing nothing to Rhea Ripley legitimately.
So
So
you think that they should build up to War Games?
I actually think so.
Ooh.
I actually think so.
Okay, that
Have
could
it
be a
build
game
into a war
changer.
game, but then slowly sprinkle things in. So they could have it in a situation where, Santos Escobar, everybody else, they just kind of like with Mysterio trying to sell it to them or whatever, and they kind of like give him the cold shoulder somewhat, but then have it to where Mysterio doesn't feel so slighted that he can't exchange a conversation or whatever. But then slowly have, the Judgment Day maybe backstage kind of just bump into them or whatever, make it seem as if they less than, and then like have with the have a women's tournament because Rhea's gonna become the champion. So then when you have like a women's tournament or something like that, have Zelina get slighted by Rhea Ripley, and then have like a tag team tournament sort of situation. Finn and Damien goes over on them or whatever the case may be, and then it could continue to build. And I at first I was thinking SummerSlam, but I really like the idea.
Nah, the
of
War Games is dope, and I think it's because
I like
they
War
had
Games a lot.
they
I like War
had been
Games.
they've been talking about once again that shake-up thing, and that normally kind of happens that between like that right after WrestleMania to kind of gear up to SummerSlam in a sense, because then once again that middle pay-per-view is Money in the Bank, which they're doing in the UK, so that's gonna be a really, really big deal for them. But yeah, I think the War Games thing is dope, and I think a part of that shakeup is Judgment Day finally getting on SmackDown. Because that was the whole thing with Ray moving to SmackDown was to get away from them. But once Rhea wins that title, I think that's when they'll transition and go to SmackDown.
Or they do like the
And
like
then that's
the
how they
draft,
can.
and next thing you know,
Yeah, they
it's
can.
official.
Because then that's
And Ray be
how.
like, oh
Because
my
that's how Rick
God.
Boogs got on Raw when Adam Pearce had announced that they had acquired at Rick Boogs. I was like, he was definitely on SmackDown.
No,
Yeah,
he
was
was
on
injured,
SmackDown.
though.
So no, he was injured, but he was
Yeah,
on
but he was on
SmackDown.
SmackDown, yeah.
So when he re-debuted on Raw, I was like, oh, okay.
It makes sense.
They're
though.
starting to
Kayfabe,
kind of like.
they had to release him because they had like an extension, like an injury extension on SmackDown. Because when someone get released, they had released them, and then West End picked them up on Raw. It's still real to me.
All right. Well, this has been
It's
fun.
real to me too. Yo,
Always real.
This has been fun, Chiseled
This has
Adonis.
been
Thanks for
fun.
having thanks for being
Fourth
here.
annual. It keeps getting bigger and
Dr.
bigger and
Umar
better.
Dr. Umar of the Jobbertears Nation.
They only showed during Black History Month.
I feel like that's the way to go
But
about
check
it,
out
though.
our previous we did the episode with Mysterious Q, the only black man in the Indies with a fine ass mask. Shout out to him. Description below.
Yeah, no, it was super dope talking to Q the other night. He definitely he's tagging with Brian Keefe this weekend out in Texas. So anyone in the Texas area, make sure to go out and support them. Once again, we'll be back at the boys will be back at Legends on next Sunday for AEW Revolution. Make sure you take a nap before you go to the bar.
Pull out of work the next day.
Maybe. But thank you, Chiseled Adonis. Please let everyone know where to find you. And if you have any upcoming things going on, please let the viewers and listeners know what's going on with you.
Yes. This has always been amazing. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at Chiseled Adonis. That's CHISELEDADONIS. You can find me everywhere there on social media. And of course, with the conclusion of the NFL season, the Chiseled Adonis Awards will be going live at I believe March 1st or February 28th. One of the other 2 days. Just look out for it next week. It's going to be a very big production to recap what transpired the entire year That's always something that the people look forward to. So
Okay.
check me out over there on YouTube.
All right. Make sure to follow and subscribe to Chiseled Adonis' YouTube page so you can get all those alerts and things like that. Make sure to subscribe and then click the alert button. That always helps everyone to keep on the up and up. Next Tuesday night, we will be back at the JTP Lounge with one of the best referees in the business, Nick Shin. We're going to cap off Black History Month with his interview. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Raw, uncut, all that jazz. That's him. Live and in color with us. And then next week, we will give our AEW Revolution predictions. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But as always, I'm Janelle from HR here with Sir Wilkins and Mr. Black. And, of course, our lovely Black History Month guest of the entire season, Chiseled Adonis. And, of course, Movie Mike in the building. He'll be his thighs is impeccable. That's what he's proud of most. At least he can't show y'all his abs because then he really be full of himself. But we love him. I'm glad that he's up here. And then April, we got some things cooking up for Battle Club, so make sure to stay your ears to the streets with that. And then also to Black Wrestle Fest. Details on that will be coming up. And then once again, Jobber Slam 3 will be in effect in July 2023. So make sure to keep your ears to the streets. Paid in full. Once again, hashtag Black Excellence, hashtag.
It's over, got the hands in motion. If you go with rolling, no need to focus. Traveling states and over oceans. You gotta wait till your coast chosen. Trying to have lines outside the show like Harry Potter releases at Barnes and Noble.